Okay, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is Moneyline with Nancy. As we have told you that the first segment of the show, we'll be having the Director General of SMEDAN. SMEDAN stands for Small and Medium Business, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency. We have the Director General, Dr. Dikko Umaru Radda, here in the studio. And Doctor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
As you can see, he's well dressed also for the celebration of Women's Day.
All right, Doctor, we would like to start. I would like you to throw some light on the collaboration with the FSS2020. I mean, SMEDAN collaboration with FSS2020.
Thank you very much. I think before I begin the discussion about the FSS2020 and collaboration with SMEDAN, I think I must congratulate the women of Nigeria and the women all over the world, and particularly my wife for celebrating the Women's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So SMEDAN, as you have rightly said, is an agency of government that is in charge of small and medium development. And it's an affects organization in charge of the development of MSMEs in the country. And then, as you are aware, the FSS 2020 was established in 26 to achieve the Vision 2020 of the country. And we have been doing a lot of things together with them, and particularly what they have done to us that we really cherish is the creation of synergy between institutions. There are institutions which has one responsibility or the other to do for MSMEs in the country, and they try as much as possible to bring the collaboration and partnership between those agencies into a very close relationship so that we can have all government agencies working together towards the development of MSME. That one is a very key and very important point. And then they have also helped in the advocacy. You know, there are a lot of issues, there are a lot of challenges facing the MSME subsector in the country. And those challenges need a lot of collaboration. And with FSS 2020, they were able to help in advocacy in the operation and the way they do their businesses as regards to the development of the MSME. And the critical aspect of MSME, which is the access to finance. The FSS 20 has created a window for ease of access to finance. One of those things they did was the facilitation of the creation of the collateral registry. And this collateral registry is meant to allow movable assets can be used as a collateral in the financial institutions. And I know with the collaboration, with the FSS 20, the government was able also through the Ministry of Finance to establish Development Bank of Nigeria. And this Development Bank Nigeria is a wholesale bank which has the responsibility of giving out money to microfinance banks to fund the MSME subsector. And it has to be done in such a way that, given the conditions and processes that they needed by the Development Bank of Nigeria. And also FSS 20, in particular, this one I want to point it out, in particular to SMEDAN. They have supported us towards the amendment of the act that establishes SMEDAN. We have been working with them for a very long time, working with the members of the National Assembly, and they have supported us also when we went for public hearing. We have gone to first, second, and public hearing. We are awaiting the passage of the bill so that it becomes a law. And given the support they have given us and the very importance of the amending of the need for the amending the act, I think we must thank them for doing that. And they have also supported us in the establishment of rating agency. We are now in the process of establishing a rating agency of Nigeria, which we call SMEDAN, in partnership with Dun & Bradstreet, Nexim Bank, and BOI. We are collaborating. We have signed an MOU. We are in the process of establishing it. And this we cannot reach to this level without the support of the FSS 20. We thank them particularly on this giant strike towards the support they provided to Small and Medium Development Agency of Nigeria.
Yeah, Doctor. Talking about there's the amendment bill that you just mentioned. We all know that the problem with Nigerians, or every Nigerian youth, is that when you talk about amendment bill, the first thing we'll ask you is, how would that influence me? How would that affect me directly? So I want you to throw more light on what major highlight in the bill should the SMEs and the MSMEs be looking at? What major highlights in the bill?
You know, when we came in fact, when I was first appointed as DG, we gone through the act that establishes the agency. We were given functions, we were given responsibilities at the mandate of the agency. But we found out that there are a lot of gaps that existed. Being an affairs organization in the agency, one of the major highlights of the Amendment Act is the regulatory framework, because our agency being an affairs organization, we need to regulate the ecosystem of MSME space in the country, because as it happens today, there is no proper regulation as to how things are being done in the MSME space. And that problem has always been a major challenge, because everybody comes into the ecosystem, does whatever he wants to do, even if he doesn't know how to do it best. So this is one of the major highlights, to regulate the MSME space. Okay. Secondly is to set standard. You know, you have to set a standard of our MSMEs so that they can compete globally with all other MSMEs. So setting standard is also another way in which we want to achieve by the amendment of the Act. And we also want to accreditate the BDSPs, Business Development Service Providers. These are the people that will just come into the space, try to provide business services, but most of them are not qualified to do that. And we need to have an agency that will be able to regulate their activities, how they do their things, what happens to, what are the benefits that goes to the MSMEs, not just to serve as a point of exploiting the MSMEs. And again, we seek to establish national enterprise development funds, which we call NADEV. This is because one of the challenges is that we don't generate funds. And the money that is coming to the agency from the budgetary allocation, given the dwindling economy, is just too small to allow us to operate in that space. So we need to generate funds outside the national budget so that we can be able to cater for the well-being of the MSMEs in the country, as is done in other countries of the world. And then lastly, one of the major highlights is to create a MSME registry, central registry, where we have a database of all the MSMEs, where we register them and have a complete database for anybody who wants to come into the country and invest. You will have a readily data available for the Nigerian MSMEs.
So I want to bring in the issue of access to credit, which is a major bane to MSMEs in Nigeria. And you spoke about collateral registration earlier on. We know that most people can't get access to credit, and even if they want to, they don't have the necessary collateral to get this credit. What is your agency doing about it? And can you tell us the percentage of MSMEs that have gotten credit in the last few years since you've been in office?
Well, I must be sincere to you. In fact, this has been a very, very critical challenge of Nigerian MSMEs, because the conditions given by commercial banks and other financial institutions are very difficult for macro businesses and small businesses to meet. Yes. And then that is the need. That was the reason why we created, this CBN created this collateral registry. So that if you don't have a house, you can use your generator in your factory, you can use the small machine you use in your factory to produce those goods as collateral. And you can even use your bikes, you can even use your motorcycle, you can even use your car as collateral. This will also ease access to finance. And again, the establishment of this rating agency, if we have a rating agency, this rating agency will rate our MSMEs in the country. And after rating the MSMEs in the country, it will be easier for financial institutions to render financial services to those MSMEs without much hitches. And these are some of the things that we are doing, but we are still advocating that things must be, so many things need to be done. In fact, cooperatives need to be used as a means of accessing finance, so that members of the cooperatives will collateralize for one another. so that the money will be given to the cooperatives. These are so many other things that we are doing with Central Bank and the FSS 2020 to ensure that we have gotten it easy for the MSMEs to operate within that. Can you put a percentage
to the level of progress made so far?
No, honestly, I can't give you percentage now because we don't have accurate data on that. But I'm telling you there are significant improvements as to the access to finance.
So you made mention of ILGA products. So how far has it gone so far?
What?
That's one local government,
one
product.
All up.
All up.
Yeah. In fact, OLOP is one of the programs we introduce into the agency so that we can have a complete cycle of MSME support. Because our agency is more particularly in giving technical support to MSMEs, largely entrepreneurship training, business development support, access to finance, facilitating access to finance, and the rest of others. But we felt that we should have a complete cycle of events. So that hence the need for us to introduce this program, all of which we borrowed from Japan. In Japan, they have one local government, one village, one product. In Nigeria, we have one local government, one product. And we choose particular products in each local government that have competitive and comparative advantage in that local government. And we have done the pilot study, but the program is all inclusive. We provide a workspace. We form them into cooperative. We provide a workspace for them. After providing workspace, we build their capacity. After building their capacity, we buy them a common machinery to increase their production, and as well as giving them a working capital so that there should be increase in their raw materials since they have machinery now in place that can help them to produce. So this is a complete cycle which has component of capacity building, component of workspace, provision of machinery, as well as financial component of it. And this is the first time the agency is having a financial component, complete cycle in a program than all up.
Sir, let's look at MSMEs clinics. And then this wall-up you're talking about, are they working in synergy? And of course, can you give us examples of local governments that have come up with certain products that we can look forward to? This local government produce so goods, so products. Can you give us an example?
In fact, we have a complete booklet. If you come to my agency, we have a complete booklet of the survey we conducted. Each local government, a particular product which is more common in that local government. But essentially, most of them are more of agri-based products. Because these are the things that you find in the local governments. And then you have mentioned that, what was the question again?
I'm talking about MSMEs clinics.
MSME clinics. In fact, all of an MSME clinic are two different things. Yeah. You need to understand this. MSME clinic, the essence of creating the MSME clinic, which is being done in synergy with the Office of the Vice President, is for us to have regulators of the MSME subsector in a place, having interface with the MSMEs themselves directly. In fact, that was the reason why Vice President was presiding over it, and then all chief executives of agencies that regulate activities of MSMEs are part of the clinic, and they were mandated to be at each of the clinics themselves, so that problems can be put on the table and solutions should be provided there and then. And then we followed it off with even one-stop shop where we had the clinics, so that we will have the state governments used to provide an office accommodation, that we operate a one-stop shop. And this one-stop shop will have a representative of NAFDAC in it, a representative of SON, Federal Inland Revenue, SMEDAN, and the host of others, CAC and the host of others in a common place in a state. So that if an MSME came in with a problem, he can be able to solve his problem because most of the regulators of the sector are within that room. So this is the essence of the MSME clinic. And in fact, we even, after the review of the one-year performance of the MSME clinic, we were able to provide certain suggestions to His Excellency the Vice President. One of those challenges, one of those suggestions was to create a kind of award to the best performing entrepreneurs that display their product at
The
that
MSME
clinic,
At the SMEs
and the
clinic.
intervention should be there and then. It shouldn't take a long time, so that things may not. And our offices in all the states of the Federation used to follow up those people that participated in the clinic to see some of the problems they highlighted in those clinics. How far have those government agencies been able to solve their problems?
Okay, so just before we round up, because we're coming to the end of the first segment, so I want to know, what is SMEDAN? Considering the fact that women are more than half of the population, what is SMEDAN? What is your agency doing for?
No, honestly, I must confess that women are one of our key targets in SMEDAN, because we found out that most of the entrepreneurs in Nigeria are women.
Yes.
And again, most of the from the research available, most of the financial assistance that was given out, it is best used by women than men. And then I can give you a simple example. We know we have a department which is strategic partnership and liaison, in which we liaise with other government or other non-governmental organizations. But in fact, even last week, we were able to provide a capacity building program for the BMOs, that is Business Membership Organization of Women. In particular, it was conducted in Owerri. Because most of the organizations that comes to partner with SMEDAN, I'm telling you, about 70% of those organizations are women organizations. We were in China last year for China Small and Medium Enterprises Trade Fair, but most of the participants we went with about 36 small businesses, but about 27 of them are women. So this has really shown that, and we have a program that we are running now, Women Business Owners, in which we provide a workspace and build their capacity.